Hey, good evening, everybody. Wednesday night, July. Wow, I pushed ahead there a little bit. June. How about June? Let's stay with June.
Yeah.
Drams. Not ready to move into July just yet, but we are all close. Long weekend coming up for a lot of people, probably.
Yeah. I can't believe it's going to be July. Like,
Oh, I know.
what the heck? It's
Already.
crazy. I know. Wild. Well, how are you, Scott? It's nice to see you.
Yeah, doing good. Hot here, 101 degrees today.
Yeah, I'm currently in South Florida, and as somebody who has to wear glasses all the time, it's not an ideal place because you just walk out and then it's like steam. It's like you've opened the dishwasher.
Yep, the
I
humidity.
think it was like 105 when I got my car, 112, and I was like, no. No.
So, for those that don't know, virtual drams at the first of the month, Jenna and I did the outturn preview tasting on YouTube. We sat down with 5 or 6 whiskeys, I don't remember. And as we did, we went through and kind of picked one that we felt was a kind of a special bottle, or one that kind of stood out or had some neat qualities to it. We chose that as our virtual dram for June, and it was 59.69 Exotic Tantalization. I've got a ticker here.
Got a ticker.
Yep, 13-year-old double maturation, 54.5% ABV. Initial cask on this was an ex-bourbon hogshead, and then it was transferred to a second fill ex-red wine barrique. But
I always get excited to see whiskeys and ex-red wine barriques. I've had some really fantastic in that type of cask. And typically our red wine barriques come from the Rioja region of Spain. So ex-Rioja wine. So I'm always excited to see those come down the line for sure.
Looking over the comments. And what's weird, though, too, coming from a red wine barrique, I think a lot of these, kind of like Oloroso, we're going to see in deep, rich, and dried fruits. This one broke out into the spicy and dry profile. So, and actually, I was going to say I was warming up with a little bit of the Maverick, our new batch release for the 40th anniversary. So I am ready to pour this. So I think you've had yours poured.
I've had mine poured for a little bit, yeah, for about like 5 or 6 minutes or so.
Yeah. All right. Do a quick roll call here. See who all is commenting that is tuning in. Oh, looks like the Whiskey Franco is here. John Mack, Stewart of Butte, Mamuka. Mamuka, by the way, package arrived the other day, safe and sound. You meant to reply to your email and keep forgetting. Whiskey and Wine Trails is here. Sean Spaeth. John Mack, I already said. Charlie Rodman is tuning in. What's going on, Charlie?
Who?
Charlie. Ooh, Jimmy Jazz. George Kaplan. George Kaplan won a gift card when we did the Maverick live stream, and we gave away we did a quick trivia question, or Ben did, and George won that. I don't know if he spent it yet.
We'll have to go look. So, yeah. All right. Well,
I was just looking at the comments, see if there was anything to address, or have you seen anything?
No, I think somebody asked if I got rid of my collection, and no, I'm just not with my collection at the moment. So this is streaming on the road.
Jenna quit drinking. She had to get rid of all of her whiskey, but we're hoping to keep her around for nosing notes. and wonderful descriptions of said nosing notes.
Yes. The nose can tell you a lot about a whiskey. I'll nose it, you taste it.
Yeah. Then you have to add water to it, though. I'd be like, you got to add water to it if you're just going to nose it.
Nope, not doing it. I quit.
All right. Let's get into 59.69. And for those tuning in, let's see. I don't have. You got a white piece of paper with you?
No, I don't.
I do. If I can reach it without falling off of my.
I have.
There we go. There.
I don't even have a good camera.
Not. I mean, it doesn't look like by the color that there's too much influence from this red wine barrique.
No.
I mean, it's a little bit darker, golden hues, but really, if you didn't have red wine barrique on the label, you wouldn't pick it up by the color for sure.
No, not at all.
Ooh.
This is smelling a little different to me. It's all I can get now is it smells like Weetabix, the cereal. That's all I can smell. And I don't know, melted butterscotch and Weetabix.
George, I did get to try. Jenna arranged to get me a sample of the 68.80. It is pretty good. I didn't do a deep dive or take notes. I just sat down. I think it was Saturday night. I was watching something and poured a couple. But, yeah, I was going to say toasted honeycomb.
Oh, yeah.
Honeysuckle as well. Red cherries. Slight red berries or red cherries, kind of a red fruit.
Have you ever seen the movie Elf?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, when he's making that, he's dumps all of the stuff into the bowl. Is it wet spaghetti and eats it? Okay, so that's kind of where this is taking me because it smells like Weetabix and butterscotch, and then there might be a few Honey Nut Cheerios in there, and then there's Twizzlers.
Okay, yeah, that Twizzler.
They call it a bowl.
That's that red kind of fruity something. Tangy could be, Twizzler. Interesting.
But it's quite malty and it smells very malty. And it actually smells quite dry on the nose. I don't know if I didn't go back and look at my tasting notes from the first time that I tasted it, but there is a quite dry note on the nose of this.
I would say cherry mamuka.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Cherry licorice.
Yeah. Well, very specifically Twizzlers.
That's funny because I was expecting someone or you or someone because I was like, it's something red. It's like red cherries or berries.
Yeah, not red vines. Twizzlers.
No. Oh, yeah. Oh, how about the Swedish fish?
Ooh, good call.
Yeah.
Good call. It's you scarfed down your breakfast of Weetabix and Honey Nut Cheerios and then went straight to the candy and just started eating Twizzlers and Swedish fish.
It would be interesting to go back and look at when we reviewed this with the OPT.
Right. All right. Well, I'm ready to taste it.
All right, let's do it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm. Mm.
Still delicious.
It's fruitier than I remember. And it's funny, right up front was that kind of that Twizzler, that red candy type note. Really, that was the first thing that I got.
And it's quite it's dry, but it's waxy at the same time. It's I feel like there's wax on my tongue or something after drinking that. But the way it feels and you get that dry kind of tannic, pinch. I'm getting that in my jowls back here and right at the center of my tongue. But then coated in wax. Very, very weird. Very lovely.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm gonna have to pour another one. I poured a baby pour.
I was getting like Whoppers as well, the milk chocolate, the malt ball with the milk chocolate around it, but almost like if it was a coconut Whopper, like if it had a coconut malt ball in it with chocolate.
My mom might like this whiskey. Her favorite things are Twizzlers and Whoppers.
Oh, really? Yeah, you ever try it?
I got to get her to taste this. I don't know. It's quite like, yeah, nose or the nose is like very malty. You get like whispers of that like Twizzler and that kind of red fruit, but the palate's quite bright and fruity.
It is. Yeah. But not like overpowering. It's really a nice influence, I would say. Red wine, just a slight influence, slight maturation on there. It doesn't feel like a really wet cask where it's really pronounced or like it's a red wine bomb or anything like that, but just really nice influence.
Yeah. It's like a little just kind of whisper of it, to be quite honest. Oh, and there's a note on here, and because at the end of this, there is like after you eat like a red hot candy, like that feeling in your mouth. There is a little bit of that on the finish of this. Like I'm getting, and I don't like swish it like in my teeth and stuff like you do, but I did give it a little tumble, and I'm getting that like red hot sensation on my palate.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody out who's here tonight have this whiskey and tasting it with us? Like, please share your notes with us. We would love to know what you're getting too. Yeah, that's delicious.
It's peppery, spicy though too, for that spicy and dry profile. Well, I really think it was almost a little bit of when I was getting the peppery, I was also getting something kind of herbal, kind of herbaceous or earthy in there with it as well. And I was just trying to figure out what that is. It's slight. It's on the tail end. It's on the finish.
There's almost like it kind of reminds me of like having like a cracker, like some type of weeded cracker with like, or like what's the other one? Wait, what's the one that's like, oh gosh, maybe it is no, I don't think it's a Triscuit. Triscuits are the ones that are like hatched, like cross hatched, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no, it's not Triscuit. What's the other one? Just like the shit. Hold on.
Now there's a lot of crackers out there.
It's gonna drive me nuts.
There's probably crackers we don't even know about.
Okay, it's like a wheat thin with like
some
kind of like maybe like a saged or like herbal cheese of some kind, like apricot jam with like a little black pepper on top.
Yeah,
like I want to eat that with this whiskey. Oh god, that sounds good. Yum.
And as you were describing those crackers, kind of a Dijon mustard kind of into mine too. Very slight. I mean, really, that red wine brick, that candy kind of sweetness and stuff with it is up front. These are some very kind of faint notes that's on the very tail end of this. And it's just when I got that peppery spiciness, then that kind of herbaceousness came through, and trying to pin that down, but it's not real prominent.
No, and I think the spicy and dry qualities of this whiskey really do shine, and then you get again like on the nose and on the palate just like a nice like whisper of that candied red kind of note. So I think it's quite nice. It's something a little different. So if you like that big kind of ex-bourbon, but you want to try something just a little different with like a little bit of this or a little bit of that, I think this is one of those whiskeys that can kind of pull you out of your comfort zone a little bit. And yeah, it's fantastic.
You don't have to try it with water, but water, I think that herbaceousness turned into like a cigar wrapper or a tobacco leaf. Yeah, and water really opened this up, I think. It's really making it penetrate all of the taste buds in my mouth. Ooh. Almost feels hotter.
I was gonna say the nose. I just put a little bit of water, and I'm like, this feels like it's a little hotter on the nose. Like, what the heck?
Oh, yeah.
Woo. All right.
But there's some pencil shavings in on the nose now. Woody. Boy, it is. It's coming out of the glass even more, I think.
Yeah, I can see pencil shavings for sure. Like fresh, like freshly made pencils that have been shaved.
You put it in the sharpener and you actually turn the crank.
That's the only kind of pencil sharpener I had until I got to high school. Is when we had the electric ones, and everyone was like, oh, "They're so loud." But one kind of cool thing about this distillery is one, we don't really see it in like their own like standard bottlings. They don't really put anything out outside of the flora and fauna. So it's a Diageo distillery. And if you've ever had the Johnny Walker High Rye, which is what they came out with that like a year and a half ago, I think.
Yeah, a couple years.
There is some of this distillery in that particular Johnny Walker expression. And it's very good, by the way.
I was thinking there'd been one or two bottlings from the distillery themselves, but they've been like older as well. I mean, I want to say like a 21-year-old or a 23-year-old.
Yeah, I think they did. I know the Flora and Fauna series, and then I think it was a 17-year-old.
The 17?
Yeah, that they put out. But this is one of the few distilleries that instead of using a mash tun uses a mash filter. And it's kind of cool. Scott and I both had an opportunity to visit Waterford a couple years ago where they have a mash filter. So typically they're found in breweries. They're just more like efficient when it comes to mashing. And I just want to show you what it looks like, because I think it's definitely a really cool thing about this distillery and worth taking a look at. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you what this looks like. All right, so here is the Moira. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it correctly, but this is just the side of what the mash filter looks like. This is the same one that this particular distillery has, and so basically it's like a giant French press in a sense. So the mash gets kind of pumped into this filter, and then there are these plates that have like cloth in between, like cloth filters in between them. And they basically just press all of that mash and separate the wort from the spent grain, which is really cool. And this is kind of what it looks like from the side. It's huge. Like I would never look at that and be like, oh yeah, that's helping us make whiskey. Like, what is that? It's kind of crazy looking. And that's what it looks like when it's done. It pulls a lot of the liquid out. So it makes the spent quite dry, which, so they're getting essentially more out of the grain itself. So it's kind of cool. So yeah, that's what it looks like.
That also is in, was it the original Guinness brewery or just one of Guinness's breweries?
Yeah. So at Waterford, they bought a Guinness brewing like factory. They made concentrate for Guinness for South Africa, I believe, in that particular plant. But they have two different distilleries they have like the original, and then they have like the new, very fancy like brew facility on one side. But I've never seen a mash filter anywhere else. I know I think there might be one or two other distilleries that have it. But typically, again, you see those in brewing facilities for beer. So kind of cool.
Just got a drop of, still trying mine with a drop of water. I'm going to add another drop. Woo.
I added a good dose of water.
I like this one with water. It's getting.
The first sip, I didn't. I was like, no, I like this better neat. I just took another sip of it with water, and it's kind of chocolatey.
Oh,
like you're getting like milk chocolate with water. Not so much like, I mean, maybe as I'm talking and as it's kind of moving over my palate, I'm getting a little bit of that like Twizzlery kind of vibe, but it is quite chocolatey. with a good chunk of water. So,
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't know if any more fruit is showing, but yeah, it's sweeter, but it's almost more of a chocolatey type sweetness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Chocolatey, pencil shaving-y goodness.
Very nice. Wow. Yeah. Woo. Some berries starting to show now with a couple more drops of water on it. But yeah, still, I mean, all those same notes, a lot of notes we've been getting. So
yeah, it's like if you made a Whopper with pencil shavings inside of it. Yeah.
And wrapped it in a tobacco leaf.
Ooh. And then washed it down with a Twizzler, or using your Twizzler as a straw.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I've just been so pleased with the spicy and dries that we've been releasing as of late. I think it's one of the the flavor profiles that's a little underrated.
It is. Yeah.
Like it's kind of one of those sleeper flavor profiles, and I think that there are just some really stunning whiskeys in that profile. And yeah, this one's fantastic.
I think there's a lot of them really are just really surprises to the palate. I mean, and really just some characters that you don't get with spicy and sweet. Definitely not sweet, fruity, mellow. It's just really, I mean, it's just Mike Tyson dancing on your tongue.
That's a great way to describe it. I like that.
Let's see. Mark Broda is tuning in from the Scotch 4 Dummies. What's going on, Mark? And this one is still available as well on the website. $140, 59.69.
Great deal.
We don't see too many from Distillery 59.
I mean, this is only the 69th cask in 40 years that has been bottled, Yeah. It's like you look at some of the other distilleries we bottled from, and I mean, I think 53 is the one we've bottled the most from. I think are we in the
400. Yeah.
Crazy. So yeah, this gives you an idea that we don't see them too often.
I just created the product page for 53.420, 420. That'll make some people order that just for the 420.
That's crazy. The 420th cask. That's wild. Yeah. Wow. It kind of puts things into perspective, and only 268 bottles of this, for the whole world, and only 69 casks from this distillery that has ever come through the society. It's just, that's pretty freaking cool. Really
cool. Mark Broda thinks you just named a bottle in the future that should be named using your Twizzler as a straw.
Well, I hope they call me and say, "Hey, Jenna, come over and taste some of these things with us and name some whiskeys with us." I'm just waiting on that call. So I will keep that in mind if I ever get it.
I've been waiting to get my complimentary bottle of if there's whiskey in heaven. Yeah, for naming that one. I haven't got my free bottle yet of that one.
Man, that's rude. You should complain. So yeah, I think this was a really fun bottle. And
it is.
Yeah, and I'm really impressed with it. And I don't know, I think this is one that you could really dig into for quite some time and kind of give people. It's like a little curveball whiskey, but in like a safe way. Like again, it like kind of pushes you out of your comfort zone, and that X Red Wine Brewery just gives you like a little, just enough to like be comfortable with going outside of just like ex bourbon or really ex bourbon. And I think it's really great. So yeah, super happy with this one.
Yeah, no, I think this is a phenomenal bottle. It is one that really stands out, and like you say, it's just unique. And I think mine's even gotten better since the first part of June. When it was opened and we reviewed it. So it doesn't disappoint. And again, I think it gets a little bit better with water. So
yeah, I liked it both ways. I liked it that it was like chocolatey. There was like a kind of big chocolatey note with the water, which I really liked. So it's like dessert.
Yep. I'm gonna put a little flag on this one so I know it's special.
A flag?
A little marker, a little sticker, a little flag, a little something, so I can recognize it.
Oh, it's a good system to have.
Amongst all my shelves here.
Right.
Be like, where is it? Is it over there?
Yeah, to find that.
You're like, oh, nope, there it is right there. I can see it.
Trying to.
Sean Spade says what Jenna was saying about only 69 casks from this distillery is the exact reason he went ahead and purchased 23.78. Also, they're my favorite. Yeah, that's a very rare cask.
Yeah. I'm with you, Sean. Good choice.
And Jenna made sure I got a sample of that one as well.
We're pretty good about making sure we, get to taste everything together. So, I mean, we're getting to a point where we're starting to color coordinate our outfits and not even like call each other beforehand and be like, so.
Yeah. What do you think? Peach? Should we wear some peach tonight?
Yeah, peach was it. I think it kind of went with the spicy and dry color.
I think yours is little. Well, I don't know.
It's all pretty dramatic.
All right. Well, I say some of these are still available. Head over to smwsa.com. 59.69, $140. Phenomenal bottle. Great whiskey.
And if you're curious about the spicy and dry flavor profile, this is a great one to start with. I mean, really, if I were to introduce anyone to this flavor profile, this is definitely a bottle that I would reach for to introduce people into that flavor profile. I love it.
It's definitely spicy. It's not as dry as some that we see in that flavor profile, but the spiciness definitely.
Yeah, but I think it's dry, but it's not like, I think sometimes when people have spicy and dries that are like really big and dry, it's like, wait a second, like this, it's almost off-putting, like if you're unfamiliar with that kind of sensation or that kind of flavor. But I think this is a good way to kind of dip your toes in, so to speak. And kind of ease into the spicy and dry water. It's a good one. Really good one. I'm glad we picked it.
Yeah. Yep. Great choice. Do we have anything coming up?
Oh, we have lots of stuff coming up, but what can we share? So I guess a couple of things. There was a question from George Kaplan about the 1983 bottles arriving here in the United States. And yes, they're coming. Just keep an eye out over the next couple of weeks, I'd say. That's all I can say. And if you're curious about what those are, go back and read last month's Unfiltered, and you'll see exactly what is to come.
I was going to say something funny, like we were getting the 193 bottles, or something. Like, we weren't getting one of them, but I couldn't think of anything.
And they're coming as in how many? That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head. That I don't know. But all I do know is that we will see them here in the States. Do you know if they're lottery based, Scott?
No, that I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure. I don't think so. I don't think they are. But I could be wrong. But to my knowledge, they're not. I just don't know how many of each we got. So again, if you want to go back and read Unfiltered from last month, you can find that, log into your account on smwsa.com. And then at the top, you'll see Unfiltered. Just click that and it will bring up all of the Unfiltereds. And you can read all about those 1983 bottles that are coming.
They really came up with some, I thought, interesting labels on those that I really liked.
I really liked the labels.
Yeah.
So we'll have that. And then I guess one thing to mention is that for the month of July, the outturn schedule is going to be a little bit different because of that long holiday. So the outturn preview tasting won't be until July 10th, actually. And Ben and Scott are going to be doing the preview for July. There's no in-person events. In-person outturn preview tastings will kick back off in September. But for the month of July, the outturn preview tasting will be on July 10th with the release on the 11th. So definitely, mark your calendars for that. But yeah, I don't think I can say much more about anything else.
Dave Broom book signings. Tickets are on sale. Go to the website for information on those. I think 4 cities. They're doing 4 cities in 4 days.
Yep, that's the West Coast tour. So I believe it's San Francisco, Seattle, Denver, and LA. Yep. So, and you can find that information over on our website as well in the events tab on the website, and it'll take you right to the ticket page for those. But yeah, that's the West Coast tour. They did the East Coast back in, when was that? Was that end of this year?
I don't remember. It was last year.
Yeah, the East Coast tour. So yeah, Tom will be out there with Dave Broom, and I heard such great things about the East Coast tour. I'm jealous that didn't get to go to one of those myself.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Oil tasters. Any chance in-person tasting somewhere in the South? Houston, Dallas, New Orleans, or Phoenix? We're always looking to expand. I mean, it just comes down to time, personnel, and budget. So I know we had a lot of people in Texas. We're interested. We've worked with Balcones there in Waco a time or two. I was just down there for World Whiskey Day, and I know they were real receptive. They wanted to host more stuff there as well. So I don't know what the future holds, but
yeah, I know we're going to be trying to expand to more cities. But as Scott said, we're like a really small team. We're little. There's like 4 of us, 5 of us that kind of handle everything. So we try to get to as many places as humanly possible to host those events, and also make sure that the ship is still running over on this end. But yeah, any suggestions you have or anything like that, do feel free to send us an email, and we'll kind of add it to the list, so to speak, and keep you informed on that.
Yeah. Oil Taster says Waco would be good. So yeah, just watch our events page and emails and things. So I think you'll see occasionally something happen there.
Yep. And that's kind of become your city, Waco.
I mean, I'm the closest for sure, I think, to it. So
you are the closest.
Yeah, Waco and Austin. Yeah.
Yeah. So but yeah, I think that's the tea.
All right.
So, well, Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah. And thanks everybody that tuned in. Appreciate it. And as we say on the back of all of our bottles, remember, Scotch Malt Whiskey Society whiskeys are not for swigging, glugging, or knocking back. Please drink responsibly. Cheers.